Equatorial Guinea is a Central African country comprising the Rio Muni mainland and 5 volcanic offshore islands. Capital Malabo on Bioko Island has Spanish colonial architecture and is a hub for the country's prosperous oil industry. So, as we can see, this is the flag of Equatorial Guinea. Next, we move to the effect of inflation. Inflation can be both beneficial to economic recovery and in some cases negative. If inflation becomes too high, the economy can suffer. Next is the effect of unemployment is unemployment financial costs. Both the government and the country suffer as a result. The more jobless people there are and the longer they are out of work, the more money the government has to pay out. As a result, the country must deal not only with lost money and lower output but also with increased costs.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurnisha binti Rizaman. My ID number is 2021201248. Today I would like to share about neighbor country to Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea is situated in Central West Africa, bordering the Bight of Biafra, which is Atlantic Ocean. Between Cameroon and Gabon, it shares a maritime border with Nigeria, Sao Tome and also Principe. Next, let we move to total population in Equatorial Guinea. The majority of people of Equatorial Guinea are Bantu origin. The largest ethnic group, the Fang, are indigenous to the mainland, but sufficient migration to Bioko Island has resulted in Fang dominance over the earlier Bubi inhabitants. The Fang constitute 80% of the population are down south, divided into 67 clans. Those in the northern part of Rio Muni speak Fang Chumu, while those in the south speak Fang Oka. The two dialects are mutually unintelligible. The Bubi, who constitute 15% of the population, are indigenous to Bioko Island. Next is about unemployment in Equatorial Guinea. The unemployment rate in Equatorial Guinea and other countries is defined as the number of unemployed people as percent of the labor force. The labor force includes the people who are either employed or unemployed, who don't have a job but actively looking for one. The labor force does not include people who are not looking for work, children, and the retired. The unemployment rate seldom declines below 4 to 5% even during boom times. There are always people who move between different sectors of the economy or between cities. When the economy goes into recession, then unemployment can reach much higher numbers, sometimes even in the double digits.
Increase from 1960 to 2021, the population of Equatorial Guinea increased from 255,338.00 to 1.63 million people. This is a growth of 540.1% in 61 years. The highest increase in Equatorial Guinea was recorded in 2060 with 90.71%. The biggest decrease in 1974 with 4.28%. Source of inflation. Number 1, demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation is when growing demand for goods or service meets insufficient supply, which drives price higher. As an economy strains, employment tends to rise. As more people go back to work, they make more money and they spend more money. However, if goods are limited at a time when people are willing to spend more money, competition among consumers drives price up. Economists often refer to this type of inflation as too many dollars chasing too few goods. Number 2, cost push inflation. Economists describe cost push inflation as a condition when the supply of goods or service is limited in some way but demand remains the same, pushing up price. The increased price of labor or raw materials, for example, leads to decreased supply of the goods, while demand remains constant, the price of commodities increased, causing a rise in the overall price level.
Suggestion on how to prevent unemployment in Equatorial Guinea. Encouragement of people to go to school, college and other institutions of learning to acquire skills to fit in the job market. Controlling rural-urban migration by putting up industry, social service, factory and other processing plants in the rural area. Building a strong standing army to guard against political instabilities. Improving economic infrastructure such as road, railways for easy mobility of labour. Emphasizing merit in employment, promotion rather than trade or birth, encouraging labour-intensive productive technique and even subsidizing such firm by the government. Most economies should change to monetary instead of being subsistence. Strict laws and rules should be put up to handle corrupt and inefficient officials. The economies should be diversified. Africans should stop depending on agriculture. Regional grouping should be encouraged to ease mobility of labour all over Africa. Economic integration to will increase production, hence employment. Transformation of the land tenure system to favour all the people. Improvement of workers' conditions like giving them good pay allowance for extra workload. In this slide, as you can see, this is the Equatorial Guinea unemployment rate.
First graph shows inflation rate in EG decreased to 2.90% in 2021 from 3% in 2020. And then next graph, in the long term, the EG inflation rate is projected to trend around 6.30% in 2023 and 4.80% in 2024 according to our econometric models. Next is money rate. The currency chart for EG shows historical data for the CFA francs per USD exchange rate. Depression involves that goods from Equatorial Guinea become cheaper to export and it becomes cheaper for foreign to visit EG. Then we can see longer historical series. The series for Equatorial Guinea are available from September 2004 to December 2022. What is a simple definition of inflation? Inflation is the rate of increase in price over a given period of time. Inflation is typically a broad measure, such as the overall increase in price or the increase in the cost of living in a country.
And then next, when I'm first talking about this country, what are our expect will be? Maybe we can think like, oh, do they also speak English? Because most of African we know who live in United States or maybe in Western country, we will say they will speak English, but not in Equatorial Guinea, which means they speak Spanish. Do you wonder why they speak Spanish as their main language? Let me tell you why. Because most of them who live in Equatorial Guinea are Hispanic. When Hispanic, they speak 3 languages, which is Spanish, and then second they speak French, and the last one is Portuguese. For the economic data, let's talk about national income. So national income, the latest national income stated for this country is $19.6 billion in 2021. We have 2 types of public policy, which is fiscal policy and also monetary policy. And under fiscal policy, we have tax and the taxation and government expenditure. And under monetary policy, we have the budget. We can say in the easiest way is actually that brings the meaning of budget, because we can also call the monetary policy as money policy. For this grantee, I would like to talk about monetary policy. Monetary policy is a process through which a central bank or other regulatory bodies manages and controls money and credit in order to accomplish broad economic goals. Starting in 2019, Equatorial Guinea is promoting new inclusive growth, improving governance and transparency. Equatorial Guinea and the International Monetary Fund have agreed to a $283 million reform program focused on better government and less corruption. The deal stated goals that are to encourage sustainable and inclusive growth and aid in the economic recovery that has been slowing for the past 6 years.